And I'll tell you, I'm gonna tell you one story here, how eXp can change your life real quick. So we really didn't understand, really how big that opportunity is. Because let's back up a second. If you don't have the opportunity, you never know what you're missing.
Exactly.
Does that make sense to everybody on this call? You get what I'm saying? If you don't have the opportunity for greatness at hand, you just never have the opportunity. You always stay in a place where the opportunity doesn't exist. Do you ever have the ability to experience that greatness?
Hey there, future real estate legends. This is Jason P. Jordan, your go-to global real estate coach and the president and CEO of the Legends International team, brokered by eXp Realty. I just wanted to thank you for being here and welcome you to another episode of the Lit Real Estate Show, where we interview our equity partners at eXp Realty in the USA and from all around the globe. Now I just ask you to please subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button and hitting that bell icon so you never miss another Lit show or any other future videos that I have then launch here on this channel. It also helps the show grow so we can get even more successful eXp Realty agents on to help you. Now, at the same time, if you're a subscriber, you'll get access to new shows before anyone in the world does. If you would, subscribe right now. Thanks so much. So let me introduce our guest speaker today, and I'm gonna have to breathe a couple of times before I can actually say all of this, but really I got a chance to know Chris, is what we call him. Christian is his full name. Chris Bear from Satellite Beach, Florida. Chris is the former vice president of growth for eXp Realty. He's a real estate team and group leader of over 1,800 agents, public speaker, founder of Motivate Pro LLC, pilot, coach, husband, and father. Chris joined eXp Realty in 2017 as an agent, and his first year sold, check this out, 86 homes and attracted more than 100 agents to his group. At the beginning of 2019, Chris was asked to take the role of VP of Growth with eXp and stepped out of production to focus on his new assignment. During this time, Chris was involved in helping grow the company, check this out, from 16,000 agents to more than 40,000 by the end of Q4 2020. Prior to joining eXp, Chris was a co-owner of independent brokerage at Brevard County, Florida, and that he was ranked in the top 30 out of 500 brokerages in his market. As an individual agent, he was consistently ranked the top 2% for sales for the entire United States, having been involved in thousands of real estate transactions. Running a brokerage, he truly understands the obstacles and opportunities agents face. Prior to real estate, Chris served 13 years in law enforcement. Starting at the age of 19, he was a full-time deputy sheriff in Florida and went on to work with the elite undercover unit, apprehending more than 1,000 suspect criminals. He went on to become a Florida Department of Law Enforcement instructor at the age of 23, where he taught at local colleges around the state. Today, Chris supports his wife, Kristen, with their local team, Selling 321, and focuses on growing their revenue share group, Success Elevated. In 2023, Selling 321 Real Estate did a remarkable 598 units, totaling an impressive $184 million in sales. This marks a phenomenal 99.33% growth increase from the previous year, right? Even in one of the most challenging real estate markets we've seen in over a decade, they not only weathered the storm, but emerged stronger than ever. #1 mega icon team in the state of Florida for homes sold, and number 21 in the entire United States for eXp mega icon team. Chris, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Thank you. Wow, that was a good introduction there. I want to know who this guy is.
Well, yeah, I went and I read your your LinkedIn profile, and then I read some posts from Facebook, and I was putting this all together because I do my research, right? And I know you, Chris, because Chris helped me make the decision to come join eXp Realty. I had a call with him as my dad and I were looking at it back in during the COVID year of 2020, right?
Yeah.
And you just really have a unique story, And also, for those of you that don't know, he's voted best hair in eXp. So I was going to try to challenge him for that title, but I think Chris
you got it, Jason. Yeah, you would have won that one. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, the team's doing great. I mean, really, all that credit goes to my wife. It's her team. She started that team 3 years ago with 5 agents, and has just absolutely just knocked it out of the park from 5 agents to 72 agents now, and just crushing the sales. So it's been fun. It's been a really, really fun ride, and I'm excited to be here today. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I think it's interesting. I told a little bit of your story, but 19 years old, working as deputy sheriff, right? I mean, that's kind of an interesting start in a career.
Yeah, now that I just turned 40, I look back and think, that was probably the dumbest thing, is to give a 19-year-old a gun and a badge. But I made it through. I was, if not the youngest, probably in the state to ever be hired as a deputy. And it was a great time. Lots of life experience. You grow up real quick, when they put you out in the streets. But it was a great career, and I had a lot of fun. A lot of great friendships were made. But one of the issues, in any kind of public servant job, if it's law enforcement, teachers, or anything, is the pay's awful. It is horrible. And, I say that very, transparently, because I was there. I can say it. We got to make sure that we appreciate these people, because, a lot of us on this call are making big checks, right? But we couldn't make those big checks if we didn't have the freedom to walk the streets, or to do what we needed to do in the day without getting robbed, or killed. Or, we really think about these things. And these people are putting their life on the line. But yeah, I had to move on to bigger things, because I wanted bigger things in life. And unfortunately, the salary after 13 years of about $43,000 a year, after all my overtime, and things I was doing, just wasn't cutting it. So I decided to make a shift and a change. And that looked like real estate. Who on this call, I can see everybody, who grew up thinking you're going to be like a real estate agent? Like as a kid, like, oh, I'm going to be a real estate agent. That's all I'm going to do is sell homes. Or not many people. I was going to be Michael Jordan. I still have him behind me in my office, right? I'm still trying to be Michael Jordan. It's just not working out for me yet. But, we kind of go through life experiences, or something happens, and we kind of get shifted into this realm of real estate. But sometimes I joke and say I wish it upon no one, though, right? Because it's nonstop work. It's a never-ending cycle. eXp, thank God, has solved some of those problems. But I needed to make more money. There was things in my life at that time, and I had a friend that was in real estate. He drove a Mercedes, so I thought he was rich. And he, wore tank tops. He was in the gym all the time. So I was like, man, this guy can do it. I can do it. And I got into it right after the crash of 2008, 2009. So that's when most people were getting out of the industry.
Right.
And I was getting into it. It was very negative at that time. Everybody in the office was negative. People were like, oh, you can't sell anything. The market sucks. And I learned real quick that one place not to be was in the office, because the office was complete negativity. And that's not what I wanted, right? I was out here trying to make something happen. So I realized real quick that, we take it into our own destiny, what happens in life. And I needed to be where buyers were. Sellers sucked during that, because it was literally like, okay, maybe your house will sell in 2 to 3 years. Was anybody around during that time? Remember that? Like literally that's what we were telling sellers, was maybe 2 years. It will be on the market. We'll get it. I couldn't wait 2 years. So I had to find buyers. And so I knew I had to put myself in front of where buyers were, right? I couldn't sit home and pray to God, please give me a deal, please, because God gave me a brain. He gave me 2 hands and 2 feet, right? So I had to go out and do something with it. So I started just positioning myself anywhere I could in front of people that potentially would buy a house. So I'd make big signs and be on street corners and hold my own signs. And then the internet hit off. And this was one of my brilliant, that really, really set me apart from everyone else. This is when Zillow just came out. Okay. This was newer. Zillow was just doing their thing. But I knew people didn't want to call real estate agents because it felt like a used car salesman, right? They didn't want to call. People like to be nosy. They like to go do their own thing. So people are just on Zillow looking at great deals. And then what would they do? They would drive to the houses and peek in the windows. They would look through the neighborhoods. They would check all the doors. Like, this is what people do. We got to understand that. So I would find the best bank-owned deal, because they were all bank-owned homes back then, right? Can we go back, though? Because I'd love to buy them all now with what I have now. I didn't have the money then, but now I do. But back then they were all bank-owned homes. So I would find the best bank-owned deal. I would get the combo code because they were all on combos. And once you have the combo code, how long do you have the combo code for? Till they change it, right? So I mean, you could have that combo code for months, right? Until the house sells or they change it. So I get the combo code and I would sit in the driveway and literally just wait for somebody to come down the street and slow their car up. And as soon as I saw that, I'd run out of the car, jump in front of their vehicles. They'd have to hit me if they're gonna get by. And I would just wave my arms and be like, hey, Bill, and wait for them to wind down the window. And they would go, oh, I'm not Bill, I'm Bob. And I'd be like, oh, I was waiting to meet a Bill, because that's who I wanted to meet that day in my head, right? And then I would say, are you coming to look at this property? And they would say, oh, we're just driving by. And I'd go, oh, well, I have it open. Do you want to go see the inside real quick while I'm here? I'm here anyways. And I would get person after person. We never sold the house, right, that I was waiting at, but I sold these people homes because I knew what was on the market. I knew it'd say, hey, this one just came up. Let's go look at it. It sounds perfect for what you're looking at. And I remember then, this is the old school, and some offices are still operating this way, which is just crazy. If you're in this, come on, it's it's a new age, but you'd have to go into the office with your checks. Right, so you go to closings, then you have to go into your office with your check, fill out a little closing form. Then they took your check, they kept it for 4 to 5 days because it had to clear their account because they don't have enough money to pay you, right? Until that money goes into their account because they're like on a margin of bankruptcy every month. And then you got to wait another few days to get your check written to you. So it's like a week and a half long process just to get paid on something that's done and closed. Right. Who's so happy that eXp pays you at the closing table, right? Yeah. Right. We're a multi-billion-dollar company. We don't have to wait for the money to go in. We can pay you instantly. It's great. I love that. So I'd start walking in with these checks, and I would have 4 or 5 checks at a time. And everybody'd stop and just start looking. Go, where's he getting those checks? And this just kept happening, right? Because they're sitting in the office waiting for something to happen. Nothing's going to happen there. If you're sitting in an office, nothing's happening. Exactly. So then I remember just even the negativity then, one of the guys, and he still sits in the office today and does nothing. I still keep tabs on where these people are, right? So one of these guys, I heard him say it real loud. He goes, oh, don't worry. It's just beginner's luck.
Oh.
Right? Just the negativity always. Well, that beginner's luck never ended, and I ended up turning into selling hundreds of homes a year. Because that's the difference, right, of doing and wanting. So many people want, but they won't do. Others just go out there and do it. They might not know even they're doing the right things. And I'm a very big believer, if we just do things, we will be rewarded. Like, we just got to put out there into the universe doing something. And I don't know if I ever sold a house from holding one of those signs. But I was out there on street corners holding signs, and I had a hat and glasses so people didn't know it was me on the sign. And then when people would wind down the window sometimes and ask questions, I'd try to disguise my voice. How crazy is that, right? Now I probably wouldn't even care. But back then I was still trying to hold on to this little bit of, oh, I'm a top agent in my mind is what I was trying to become. And top agents don't do those things. Yeah, well, whatever. Now my ego's in my bank account, right? That's what I love, right? It's not in numbers, it's in the bank. But it's just a great time of really learning how to hustle out there. But what I found is so many agents aren't willing to do that, right?
Right.
They're not willing to actually go out there and put the work. They watch HGTV. Tark's a good buddy of mine, so I love you, Tark, if you ever see this video. But they watch Tark, but I know the struggles he's been through to get there. But people watch that now and just think, oh, I can go flip houses. This is easy. Look at what they do. Or I could get selling sunset now, right? I can go sell homes. People just, you just sit there and wait for someone to call you and you sell a $5 million house. But we know really the top 10% in real estate sell all the real estate. The other 90% are out here just waiting for something to happen that never will. But it takes a lot of hustle and grit. So that's how I got into real estate. So let's fast forward now.
Yeah, let's fast forward. Let's talk about, eXp Realty, right? So
that's where I was going.
How did that come to you? How did you hear about it? And why did you guys make the decision to jump? I mean, in 2017, right? I mean, that must have been a really early time still at eXp.
Oh, it was. And I'll tell you, it's so funny. We were never looking for eXp, but we were looking for a platform to give us more opportunity to expand outside of our 20 miles. And that's important for anybody that hears this call today. If you're a team leader, an independent brokerage owner, like, you got to get outside of the 20 miles. And we had to find that platform. We weren't looking for a brokerage. I didn't need a brokerage. I didn't need support. Like, we knew what we were doing. The company was selling 700 homes a year with 23 agents. We were crushing it, right? But here's what we did need. We needed a platform to be able to expand, and we needed to do it at an exponential rate. So that's where eXp came in. A good friend of mine reached out and said, hey, have you heard of this little company? Here's what you can do. There was 3,500 agents. And it was a disaster. It really was. We were the second largest brokerage to move over to eXp.
Okay.
And it was a nightmare. I mean, operations was awful. The transition was awful. But what was so cool is I was so excited I didn't care. You know, I remember, you know, recruiting agents during that time and literally sitting down with them. I mean, just imagine where we are now. And I'd sit down, you know, with let's say Marty, and be like, hey, Marty, just pitch in eXp how amazing this is and how awesome it's going to be, right? We had to sell the future, right? Because it wasn't there yet. And then Marty get all excited and be like, I'm in. And I'm like, awesome. It will be about 4 weeks before we can get you moved over. Because that was the onboarding time. It was about 4 weeks from when somebody said yes to getting them fully onboarded and moved. Imagine that, you know, and now it's same day, right? Now it's same day. Someone fills out the application. Worst case, it's the next day if they do it late in the day, right? But, and we were growing so fast during that time. But we needed more opportunity to expand, and I wanted to partner with great people. And I'll tell you, you know, I'm gonna tell you one story here, how eXp can change your life real quick. So we really didn't understand, you know, really how big that opportunity is. Because let's back up a second. If you don't have the opportunity, you never know what you're missing.
Exactly.
Does that make sense to everybody on this call? You get what I'm saying? If you don't have the opportunity for greatness at hand, you just never have the opportunity. You always stay in a place where the opportunity doesn't exist. Do you ever have the ability to experience that greatness? No, because literally you've robbed yourself of the opportunity by putting yourself in the wrong positions. Mm-hmm. Right? So I do a huge thing on this. It's called winning with opportunity, right? An opportunity literally has clues and signs. And I consider opportunity a train, right? Opportunity is a train. It comes fast and it leaves fast. You know, we've got the bright line here. It travels like 200 miles per hour, right? So it comes and goes quick. But what does a train operate on? On a track, right? It doesn't just go out, and so does success and opportunity. We just have to know what that track is. And then we've got to know when to be at that track to hit the opportunity. So eXp, we saw, was that track. We saw that. So the opportunity for us, one of our largest builders, and guys, all it takes is a couple builders in your group and things will change forever when it comes to building out your revenue share organization. And that's a huge component of eXp, which I love, because we have sales, we have stock, we have revenue share, because we're owners in this company. But I was going to a multifamily investing conference with my father-in-law. And yeah, people are like, his father-in-law. I'm actually very close to my father-in-law. And right before, though, that we were about to leave, I mean, literally the day before we were about to leave, all hell broke loose at home with business, things with the kids. And I looked at my wife and I said, hey, I'm just not going to go. I'm just going to stay. I'm going to cancel. Your dad can go. And this is why my wife is so powerful and so successful in life and business, is she looked at me and said, let me ask you something. She goes, think of the biggest things that's ever happened to us in life. The biggest things. She goes, what always happened before the greatness took place? She goes, massive adversity. And that's where we are right now. She said, you have to go to that conference. Something big is going to happen. So I did. So we got it together. I went to the conference and it did. During that conference, it was like day 2 or day 3. I'm really big, you know, basketball. You guys know that. I see this guy, his head's just sticking above the crowd, right? He's like 6'7". He's thin built, but muscular. I was like, this guy had to play college ball or something. So I walk up to him. I was like, hey man, did you play ball? He's like, oh yeah, I did. So we start talking. I was like, so cool. I was like, you know, I wanted to, but you know, I'm 6 foot, I'm slow, I'm short. I can't shoot threes. I can't jump. So we just start talking. So I didn't know this guy was the #1 RE/MAX agent for his office in Chicago. I had no clue. So he asked what I did. I said, hey, I'm in real estate. I said, I just partnered with this amazing company. You know, now I'm really growing a global group with eXp. Go ahead. He goes, what's that? Isn't that funny? Now everybody knows about eXp. Back then they're like, what's that? But it's better they know about it now. It's better they've already been pitched it 5 to 6 times, because now they're just waiting for the right person to pitch the opportunity. Back then, you had to kind of be like, oh, eXp is going to be amazing. It's going to be number one. Now we can say eXp is amazing. It is number one. So, but this guy was open to opportunity. And he said, I haven't heard of that. And I said, well, it's revolutionizing the real estate revolutionizing the real estate industry, especially how agents are being compensated. That was always my pitch. It's always what I said. Rob Flick taught me that. It's the number one thing. I always said it. And he goes, what do you mean by that? So this is the energy we're looking for, right? He's asking me questions. If people aren't asking you questions, let them go. Mostly if you're at a conference, let them go. Go to the people that are the right energy. Those are the ones that get excited when you say those words, that ask you that. And I said, hey, well, after the event, I said, there's a hotel bar right here. I said, can I meet up with you? And I'll show it and share it with you. And I'm thinking I'm going to get them drunk, right? Because you get people drunk, right? Then it's easier to talk to them. So I'll just buy them drinks, right? We'll have fun and all this. So I'll never forget, I'm sitting there with my laptop open and I'm waiting for it. I got the bartender, the server already. I go, hey, as soon as he sits down, takes his drink order. Whatever he wants. I said, make him doubles, make him whatever. Like, just get it going. So he sits down. I order my right. I was like, hey, I'll have a, Tito's. That's my go-to. My Tito's, with soda water, splash of cran. And then I say, hey, Steve, what do you want? And he goes, oh, I don't drink. I've been sober for like 10 years. And I'm like, how that hit you? Then I'm like, well, can we order some drugs? No, I'm joking. But it's like, and I support that, right? Okay, hey, that's awesome. But you get in your mind how some way's gonna go. So I open up the computer now and I start going through, and halfway through, he's like, I'm in. This is halfway through. He's like, I'm in. But that concerned me, because I was like, why are you in so quick, right? People in quick, they're out quick. You ever experienced that? I like people that take time, that really dig in. And he said, this is what I've been looking for years. I've been looking for a company that's going to give me ownership. I don't have that I can partner with other agents, and we can do something. I don't have that, because RE/MAX wasn't offering any of that. They still don't today, right? That's a lot of things that enticed a lot of agents to come over here. So Steve came over, and Steve today, we're about to hit 2,000 agents. Woo, which is so exciting. But out of our 2,000 agents, Steve makes up about 1,200 of those.
Wow.
And that's why I tell you, it's not about having all these builders. I can look at the group of where the builders were. Steve was best friends with John Tsai. John Tsai was the number one agent in Vancouver, Canada. So Steve brought on John. Well, John is Steve's number one builder, who bought on like 1,100 agents of those 1,200. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you look at this, you can identify the builders in this, and it only takes 2 or 3 builders to build out a massive organization. I think that's where some people get lost into this, right? But we just got to be in the right places where opportunity can happen. If we're not putting ourselves in front of agents that can be builders, or at events where agents are that we don't know they might become our builders, and we're just sitting at home praying that an agent's going to fall from the sky, right? It's not going to happen. So I can really give most of all of our success for my wife and myself and everything that we've done. It's just about putting ourselves in front of opportunities where we can see success.
Speaking about opportunity and success, the last couple of minutes that we have here, Chris, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of share a little bit about, you've seen so much success at eXp, not just in your organization, but as the former vice president of growth, helping large organizations move over. And now today, it's like they're coming in droves today, right? So talk a little bit about what you think the future looks like for eXp Realty, or maybe give some insight to somebody who's looking at this live or the recording. Maybe they're thinking about joining eXp. Maybe in their head, they're like, maybe I'm too late.
Yeah, well, you're never too late. There's 2 best times to plant a tree. 20 years ago, yeah, that's great, or today. So that's just doubt in people's heads. I'll tell you, we're not too late. Here's a fun statistic: 50% of all real estate agents change brokerages every year. So that means every year this is just the US, that means every year there's over 1 million agents looking for a new company. You think you're too late now? So no, absolutely not. There's always, some other companies try to pitch the ground up. You got to be here at the ground up. That's the opportunity. Well, what happens when you're not the ground up anymore? There's no more opportunity. That's one of the most dumbest things I hear when people say that. Get in at ground level. To me, that makes no sense at all. But eXp is still revolutionizing the real estate industry today. And there's some super exciting news that's going to be released here soon that eXp is looking at again of coming out here and just being a disruptor. And I'm super excited about the conversations I've been in. So everybody hold on for that news that's coming. But what's so cool about eXp is our founder, Glenn Sanford. And this is what really separates us from and I'm going to just say how it is. There's nothing wrong with this, okay? But the copycats. There's tons of copycats out there now. There's nothing wrong with that word, okay? That's what happens. Guys, let's think. Netflix came out, then Hulu came out, right? Then you had, Amazon Prime came out with their streaming, right? Prime Video. Then Disney had to do it, right? So, but who was the start? Think about that. Who was the start? Netflix. And those other companies didn't copy until Netflix said, yeah, this works. Look at what we're doing here. Same thing with eXp, guys. We started cloud-based. We started agent ownership. We started the revenue share. We started the agent equity, right? That was us. And now all the other companies went, oh my God, we got to do something or else we're going completely out of business. And every new company that's started now has just followed what we've done because we paved the road. And that's one of the biggest compliments, right? It's awesome. But here's what changes. This is what sets us apart, why I get so excited about eXp than any other company that's out there. And I get pitched by a lot of companies, as you can imagine, right? Every company that's big, up and coming and that, they want the big players to come over and they try to throw everything at you. What can we give you? Stock, money, like whatever it is. Here's why eXp is home for my wife and I. Glenn Sanford was one of us. He was a team leader. He sold real estate. He was in the trenches and he knew he had to do something better for the agents. Okay. He's not a hedge fund getter where he went out and just raised a bunch of money and never sold real estate. Doesn't understand and came out. He wasn't making all his money in mortgages and became a refinance king, right? And then said, oh, I'm going to get into real estate now because there's this. No, this guy knows what we go through. This guy understands what we need, and that's what he's built this company off of. And Glenn, every single day is working on continuing to improve and improve as we're growing. He never stops. He obsesses over it. And that is the person I want to be partnered with. And it changes everything. And we're going to continue to change the industry. eXp, in my book, is just getting started. What's about to happen here, that's coming out, guys, the other companies are going to be scrambling again now, going, how do we do this? They will always be behind what Glenn is doing because we've paved the roads years ahead. And I am pumped about what's coming. I hope that helps. I can't share what I know on some of this, but I can tell you, get excited.
Chris, thank you so much for coming today and sharing your story and getting everybody excited. I'm even extra jazzed up today from listening to you. You bring the energy, brother. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Happy birthday, by the way.
So
40th birthday yesterday.
Yes, thank you. Well, thank you for having me, and I hope I can come back and visit again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Chris.
All right, take care, everybody.
Hey, I hope you found value in today's legendary interview with our special guest. If you'd like to see more interviews just like this one, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you'd like to learn more about today's guest, I placed all their contact information in the description below. Who knows, maybe they are the mentor you've been looking for. And if you're looking to make a change who you are partnered with in real estate, feel free to book a no-pressure private Zoom call with me. During this private call, I'll share with you how we help real estate agents leverage their language skills and cultural connections to close more transactions both locally and internationally using cutting-edge lead generation technology and marketing techniques. If you want to find yourself in a different situation in 90 days or in a year from now, it's important to find the right partners that can mentor you, have the right strategies, and are willing to give you the roadmap without asking for an additional cut of your commission. With the unique eXp Realty model, it's a collaboration, not competition mentality. The numbers don't lie either. So if you're curious, reach out and set up an appointment. I look forward to meeting you. Feel free to check out the other videos I have here on the channel about eXp Realty too, in case you're just curious. Otherwise, drop your questions or suggestions for upcoming guests in the comments below. Once again, I'm Jason P. Jordan, your go-to global real estate coach with the Legends International team, brokered by eXp Realty. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.